Every living thing needs it to survive. Plants and animals depend on it. And so do you and I. We drink it, bathe in it, and we play in it. So it's important that we learn how to take care of it. That's why we're on a discovery voyage on the San Francisco Bay on this floating laboratory where marine biologists check up on the quality of the water and what lives in it. Here you go, Mary.
Oh, thanks, Lamar.
You bet. You know, no one knows better than the creatures of the sea just how important it is to keep our water clean and healthy. And here's a story about one who helped a fisherman find that out. It's called Jack, the Seal, and the Sea.
Jack, the Seal, and the Sea by Gerald Aschenbrenner. English adaptation by Joanne Fink. Read by Leslie Uggams. As a small boy, Jack was always out on the sea with his father, a fisherman. And when Jack was old enough, he bought his own fishing boat. He always worked hard, fishing the same waters his father had. Slowly, though, things changed. The sea did not sparkle as it once had. The fish were small and sickly. One day, Jack hauled his net on board, expecting the usual catch of half-dead fish. Instead, he stared in amazement into the eyes of a little seal who lay among the silvery mackerel in his net. It was clear to Jack there wasn't much life left in this seal. An oily film covered his fur, and bits of debris were stuck to him. Jack gave the seal a much-needed bath and some mackerel. Soon Jack could see a bit of sparkle in the seal's big dark eyes. "I bet you'd like to go back to your friends," Jack said. All afternoon Jack searched for seals, but there were no seals to be found. Jack saw garbage scattered on the beaches and garbage floating by his boat. No wonder the seals are gone, he thought sadly. Why would they want to live in this mess? The little seal began to get restless, so Jack brought him more fish. He gobbled them right up and looked around the deck for more. "More?" chuckled Jack. "Well, if you've got that big an appetite, maybe you should do some fishing for yourself." Jack lifted the seal over the side of the boat. Jack followed the little seal to make sure he'd be okay. When the boat finally caught up with him, the seal had a big silvery mackerel in his mouth. It was the healthiest-looking mackerel Jack had seen in a long time. The seal gobbled the fish up quickly and caught another, and then another. This might be a good spot to try some fishing. Jack didn't want the seal to get tangled in his net again, so he brought him on board. The fisherman pulled his nets through the water, and when he brought them up, they were filled with big, healthy fish. "What luck you've brought me today, little seal," he exclaimed. It was late in the day by the time Jack finished fishing. The sea was so calm, he decided to stay out on the water for the night. He settled down on the deck with the seal by his side and fell asleep. Suddenly, the wind picked up, the sky darkened, and the waves grew to a frightening size. Jack's little boat was tossed in a terrible storm. A huge wave broke in front of him, and he heard a deep, booming voice rise from the depths. "Help me, Jack! Help me as you did my little friend the seal. I rewarded you for that. Now it is time for you to come to my rescue. Look what has happened to me. Everything that's been dumped in me has made the fish sick. The plants can't live in me. and people are afraid to swim in me. Stop polluting the sea. The storm stopped as suddenly as it began. When Jack awoke, the seal was nowhere to be found. On his way into port, Jack saw bottles and bits of trash floating by his boat. It kept bringing his dream back to mind. I didn't think it would happen here, to our part of the sea, but it has happened here. And then it came to him. There was something he had to do. Now, Jack sails up and down the coast. He stops in all the towns and villages to tell his story. Sometimes he thinks about being a fisherman again, but not until everyone hears his message and cares about what happens to the sea.